What's up, people? Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Hope everyone is doing well on this Wednesday morning. I hope you're all doing okay. We've got a massive show for you guys today. As always, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. We will be talking quite a lot about the takeover this morning. You know, most of the time I don't bother talking about it, but we did have a load of news come out last night surrounding Manchester United's takeover, so we will be talking about that. We will also be talking about some more updates on Donny van de Beek. We've got some updates on Fred, Harry Maguire, McTominay, Brandon Williams. We've got loads and loads to get into, so do get involved in the comment section. Do let me know if you're watching. And do get involved with all of the different things we talk about, because as you know, I do like to make it as interactive as possible. Right, let's start off with the elephant in the room then. Let's start off with the Manchester United takeover. I assume this is why most people are watching the video this morning, so let's jump into that right from the very beginning. So, if anybody missed it, last night, there was a really big article that came out via a website called iSport. Okay, I've never heard of iSport, to be completely honest with you. So the source is iSport. I did a bit of research into this because, as always, whenever I bring bits of news to you, I do want to check where it's come from. I want to check the legitimacy of it. So iSport is part of The Independent, which is a newspaper in the UK, all right? So let me just have a look. Where are we? Okay, here we go. So iSport it was founded in 2018. Apparently it's the second most trustworthy newspaper in the UK. Yeah. Okay. So it's a newspaper and it's part of the Independent. So the story that came out yesterday is the following. Let's read out what we've got for you guys here. So the headline is: the Manchester United takeover process has been effectively paused as far as at least one of the two main bidders are concerned. Listen to that quote very, very carefully, all right? The Manchester United takeover process has been effectively paused as far as at least one of the two main bidders are concerned. I'll read out all of the bits of quotes and then we can talk about it in a minute, all right? It goes on to say then, a close source to one of the Manchester United bids: we've not been given any guidance at all on what comes next. There haven't been any requests to modify the offers or come up with new rounds of bids, as there was earlier on in the process. There's just been no communication whatsoever. Okay, so that's another bit, all right? As a result of that, obviously the share price is absolutely plummeted. It's down about 10%. And then another bit says, Joel and Avram believe that the new TV deal is being negotiated, the growth of the game in the US, and the new Champions League format will add value to Manchester United in the coming years. Right, okay. My take on this, all right? As always, I give you guys the news and then I'll give my opinion. You can agree or disagree. That's completely up to you. Now, all of these quotes that have come out via this iSport website, which I have looked at and does seem to be a legitimate website, they all are just talking about one bidder. They're not talking about both of them. They're talking about one bidder. Now, let me ask you, who do you think this bidder is? Who do you think has been speaking to the UK press? Who do you think has been speaking to the Independent? I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's Sir Jim Ratcliffe, isn't it? What was the last news we heard a month ago? Sir Jim Ratcliffe's out of the race. I mean, is anybody really surprised that one of the bidders has not heard anything? If it was Sheikh Jassim coming out saying, I've not heard anything, you know, blah, 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 then... yeah. So for me, honestly, the way I read this, I've seen a lot of negativity, a lot of people saying it's over. I don't think it's any different than it was a couple of days ago. I honestly think the person that's been speaking to this journalist in the UK, this is just my opinion, is it has to be Sir Jim Ratcliffe. It does, you know? One of the two main bidders, it's not both of them. One of them has said that effectively the process has been paused and they're not getting any communication. I mean, does that not just mean that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is effectively out of the race? Like that, this is how I take in this news, to be completely honest with you. Let me know in the comments section what you think about what I'm saying. Let me know if you think that you disagree. But for me personally, who was the person who spoke to, who did Sir Jim Ratcliffe do an interview with a couple of weeks ago? Like, Sheikh Jassim has not spoke to anybody, you know? We haven't had anything like come out like this. It's always Sir Jim Ratcliffe, you know? So for me personally, I honestly just think that this is come from Sir Jim Ratcliffe's camp. He's leaked it to the Independent, who, as I said, is apparently the second most trustworthy newspaper in the UK. Because all of the quotes, it's a source close to one of the bids. You know, it's the Manchester United takeover has effectively been paused as far as at least one of the two main bidders are concerned. So it's, you know, all of it is actually pointing towards Sir Jim Ratcliffe is ultimately saying that he's not had any communication. I mean, if they were going to accept somebody else's bid, say they were going to accept Sheikh Jassim's bid, they probably wouldn't be in communication with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, would they? I don't think. So for me personally, when I saw this bit of news come out last night, I wasn't worried, really. I wasn't, because I just saw it as like, you know, if it was over, it would be on BBC Sport, it would be on Sky Sports, it would be absolutely everywhere, okay? This is one person involved in the deal, so either Sir Jim Ratcliffe or Sheikh Jassim has spoken to one specific newspaper and done some sort of interview, okay? Why would Sheikh Jassim speak to a newspaper that I've never even heard of in the UK? Like, why would he do that? He wouldn't, would he? So the only person who could have put out this story, let's be completely honest, is most likely going to be Sir Jim Ratcliffe, in my opinion. It just screams Sir Jim Ratcliffe. It really, really does. You know, a month ago we heard that he was out of the race, and now we get this story saying that ultimately they haven't heard anything. They haven't had any communication. They don't know what's coming next. I mean, I honestly just think that this is Sir Jim Ratcliffe's camp putting this out. Ultimately, you know, so if it doesn't go through, they can say, oh, well, we did try. We did everything we can. The Glazers didn't want to sell. The Glazers were, you know, and then they'll sell it to someone else. I don't know. That's how I take on it. I'm not really that... I'm not really that worried, to be completely honest, from this story. I'm really, really not. Obviously, they're not even saying that they're out of the race. They're just saying they haven't had any communication, which might just mean that they're speaking privately with another bidder, you know? This is how I take in this news. And I actually, in some ways, when I saw it, I actually thought it was positive. I did, because I know people are probably thinking, what the hell are you talking about? Why are you being so positive about this? You know, the Glazers are staying, all the rest of it. And that's fine. You can think that if you want. But for me personally, I don't see the point in, you know, throwing the toys out of the pram from one story coming out in one newspaper that I'd never heard of until 24 hours ago, just because I know we're all so emotionally invested in this. I get that. But for me personally, like, I didn't see this and was like, oh my God, it's over. What are we going to do? You know, at the end of the day, this is one person from the bid who's come and said something to one newspaper, you know? So yeah, let me know what you think about it. Obviously, this is just my personal opinion on how I kind of perceive what's happened in the last 24 hours. But as I said, if it was over, if it had been paused, you'd be hearing this on Sky Sports, you'd be hearing it on BBC Sports, you'd be hearing it on every different news outlet in the world. It would be worldwide news, okay? This is one individual. They even say that. They even say one individual, a source close to one of the bids, and then they give a quote. So this is one individual from one of the bids, either Sheikh Jassim or Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who's come forward and ultimately and done some sort of interview or given them a quote. That's all that's happened. That's literally all that's happened, and it can mean anything. So for me personally, I'm not really that worried, to be completely honest. I genuinely do think they will sell the club. I do. I just think that it's going to take time. And I think that all of these bits of news we're getting out like this is just clearly showing that they've probably picked a preferred bidder behind the scenes. They've probably chosen somebody, or they've at least communicated to one of them that you're my preferred bidder, and then whoever isn't that preferred bidder is the one that's coming out with these stories saying we've not heard anything, we haven't been told if to put in a new bid or any of the rest of it, you know? Because before, as much as this process has dragged on, they have communicated quite a lot. It's been like, right, we're doing another round of bidding, right, we're going to do another bid. Do you know what I mean? Like, it has flowed quite well. Obviously it's taken 8 months and it's been absolutely ridiculous, but there has been a constant line of communication. They'll tell us, oh, we're doing another round of bidding, oh, this is going to happen, but we haven't had anything. And all now we're getting is one of these parties who I believe to be Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Again, that's just my opinion, but why would Sheikh Jassim be speaking to iPaper Sport in the UK? Like, come on. I'm sure if Sheikh Jassim wanted to do an interview with a UK outlet, he would pick somebody else, you know. But yeah, let me know what you think about this. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I'm not massively concerned about this, to be completely honest. I know this all went out on Twitter last night, and everyone had an absolute meltdown. Everybody on Twitter was, you know, saying it's over, the Glazers are staying. I honestly don't think this has changed my perception of what's going on whatsoever. I'm still feeling confident. I'm still feeling positive about it. I still do think they're going to leave the club. And I think, if anything, as I just said, this is just a way of them. Ultimately, one of the bidders must just not be in the race anymore. But let me know what you think about that. Let me know how you're feeling about, yeah, I mean, as Simon says in the chat, do you think a preferred bidder will be named this week? I honestly do. Maybe not this week, but I honestly think the next steps will be a preferred bidder. And I think then we'll know who this person is who's been speaking to this newspaper. Because at the end of the day, have you got Sheikh Jassim coming out saying, we haven't heard anything for 2 months? Or whatever this other... We haven't heard that. We haven't, have we? The only thing we've heard is from Sir Jim Ratcliffe that he's out, that effectively he's out of the race, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? Like, we haven't heard anything from Sheikh Jassim, nothing. They've just been very, very quiet in the background. So yeah, that's my take on it. Let me know what you think. I'm not going to try and scaremonger. I'm not going to try and, I'm just giving you guys my opinion, and that's what I'll always do on this channel. I've given you the sources of where this information's come from. I've kind of had some time to digest it. I've gone away and I've checked. I've gone away and checked the source, and as I said, apparently it's a part of the independent newspaper in the UK, which is a trustworthy newspaper. So yeah. And as somebody says in the chat, at the end of the day, there's a non-disclosure agreement, isn't there? You know. So whoever's coming out doing this is clearly desperate. They clearly are like. It's the last roll of the dice, isn't it? You know, they haven't had any communication. They don't know whether the bid is going to be accepted, blah, blah, blah. We're only getting this from one side. If we had both Sheikh Jassim and Sergeant Ratcliffe both coming out at this exact moment saying, neither of us have had any communication, we're both really upset about it, blah, 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 then obviously, yeah, you might be a bit concerned. But at the moment, it's very, very one-sided traffic, and it's all coming from, in my opinion, Sergeant Ratcliffe's side, because that's all we've been hearing over the last month is that he's out of the race, etc., etc. But yeah, let me know what you think about this one. Let me know how you're feeling. Do you think that Sheikh Jassim's going to win? Do you think Sergeant Ratcliffe's going to win? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know where you're at this moment in time. I still do think that they will sell the club. And I honestly do think that they will sell it to Sheikh Jassim. I do. That's just my personal opinion. You know, nobody's told me that will happen. But that is what I believe to happen. Right. We've got 400 people watching this morning, which is absolutely amazing. Please do go and smash a like on the video if you haven't already, everybody. And please do subscribe to the channel. We're now 60 subscribers away from 8,000. So please go and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's see if we can hit 8,000 by the end of the show, sorry. And yeah, let me know in the comment section, how are you feeling about the takeover? Obviously, I wanted to bring this into the show because I do think it's important. I've given my opinion. If you disagree, obviously feel free to get involved in the comment section, and also let me know who do you think is going to win, or if anybody's going to win. But I do think we will get an answer by the time the season starts, because the negativity that will happen if we don't know who the new owner is, or at least know whether the Glazers staying, will be absolutely terrible. It really, really will. So I am confident that by the time we play our game against Wolves, which is a week on Monday at Old Trafford, we will know at least what's going on, or we'll know if they're going to do another round of bids. Yeah, so in short, I'm not particularly worried about this bit of news, to be completely honest with you. I know I've seen people on Twitter literally having a meltdown. I'm not going to do that. Until I literally have it written in front of me, the Glazers coming out themselves and saying that the sale is over, then obviously I'll be upset. But until that happens, I'm still hopeful. I'm still confident. So yeah, just everybody try and stay positive. Don't let it, get you down. Yeah. Right, let's move on though. Let's move on to something more positive, because obviously I know sales stuff at the moment is quite negative generally, but I hope you appreciate my positivity towards it. So yeah, let's move on to something else. Let's move on to Rasmus Hojlund really, really quickly. So this is coming in from Fabrizio Romano. Fabrizio is reporting that Rasmus Hojlund has just completed his medical tests and the first part of his media duties for Manchester United. Hojlund and his camp are leaving Carrington right now, and the contract will be signed tomorrow, so today. So it does look like we will get the pictures of Rasmus Hojlund in the Manchester United shirt today, which I'm really, really excited about. I'm really excited to have him join Manchester United. I absolutely love the guy. I spent most of yesterday watching like compilation videos of him and watching some of his matches on repeat. And he honestly looks like a quality player. He really, really does. And I just can't wait for him to be getting on the end of those crosses that we put into the box and nobody ever gets on the end of. The amount of time the Manchester United players, Luke Shaw is really, really good at putting balls into the box, and there's never anybody there to meet it ever. So yeah, it does look like Rasmus Hojlund will be officially announced today. As I just said, Fabrizio has confirmed that all of his medical tests have been done. Yeah, we're not sure what shirt number he's going to wear at the moment, but as soon as we do get that information, we will let you know. Right, let's keep things moving though. Let's talk about Donny van de Beek. So we have got an update on Donny van de Beek for you. Obviously, we spoke a little bit about him last night, and apparently Fabrizio Romano is reporting the following. Real Sociedad have approached Manchester United today for Donny van de Beek. First formal contact between the clubs after initial talks on player side last week. The clubs are now discussing formula and terms of the deal. It would depend on the conditions decided by Manchester United. So that's really, really positive. As long as we get money for him, I'm happy. I don't want to send him out on loan. I think that's a waste. The story goes as well, this is coming from a different journalist, saying that apparently Manchester United are asking for £25 million for Donny van de Beek. Real Sociedad are in talks to sign him. Now, I want you guys to let me know in the comment section, how much do you think Donny van de Beek is worth? What would you be happy with selling him for? Let me know in the comment section. As I just said, Manchester United are reportedly asking for £25 million for his signature, which, to be completely honest with you, I think is a little bit too much. I cannot see Manchester United getting 25 million for him. Maybe 25 million euros, but not pounds. We paid 33 million pounds for him. So I reckon somewhere between 15 and 20 is probably fair. But let me know what you guys think. How much do you think is a fair price for Donny van de Beek? Yeah. I said this on the show last night, though. Like, I genuinely would rather let go of Fred and... who's the other one? Fred and McTominay, and keep Donny van de Beek, because I do actually think there's a player there with Donny van de Beek. I really, really do. He scored, I think he got 3 assists, hasn't he, on the pre-season tour so far. So I will be a little bit disappointed if McTominay stays and Donny van de Beek goes. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. It does look like Real Sociedad are pushing for his signature. That's what Fabrizio Romano is reporting. Although there is one other story coming out about this deal, and it says there are concerns from Real Sociedad about Donny van de Beek's injury record, but they have nevertheless chosen to enter talks with Manchester United about a possible transfer. So it does look like Donny van de Beek will get his move. It does look like he will go to Real Sociedad, and we're just waiting to find out what the kind of terms of the deal will be. Now, if I was to guess, I would probably say it will be a loan with an obligation to buy. I think it'll be something like that. I think it'll be a loan and then maybe an obligation to buy for about 15 to 20 million. As long as the obligation to buy is actually kind of set in stone, it's not like if he plays 50 matches or something ridiculous, I'm happy with that. But yeah, we definitely need to get money for Donny van de Beek. We can't be letting him go for free, and we can't be letting him go on a loan, in my opinion, unless there's an option to buy. Right, let's keep up with some outgoings, though. Let's keep the positivity going on this morning show. So we've got a story coming in from Alfredo Padula, who is, of course, the Italian journalist who's been really, really good this transfer window. And he is reporting that Manchester United have lowered their asking price for Fred. You're not going to like this. Manchester United now want £12.9 million for Fred. Apparently, initially they were asking for 17.2. Now Manchester United are only asking for 12.9 million for Fred. I mean, that is so cheap, isn't it, for Fred? Absolutely ridiculous. Like, I'm sure we can easily get 12.9 million for Fred. If we don't, that's an absolute disgrace. But yeah, it does look like Fred will leave the club, and it looks like he will go to Galatasaray. I'm sure Galatasaray will happily pay the 12.9 million. To this point, they've put in bids of 5, 7, and 10. So I think we're very, very close to that now. Yeah, but let me know what you think about that one. How much do you think Fred is worth? The story is that Manchester United will now accept £12.9 million for his signature. It is a bit frustrating, isn't it? Because, you know, we see all this financial fair play stuff. We see all these graphs where it says net spend. And it's like, if we were actually good at selling players, our net spend wouldn't actually be that high. You know, I've already seen people saying, oh, Erik ten Hag spent 400 million. You know, he spent 400 million. He should be winning the Premier League this season, like rival fans. And it's like, the amount of players that we've just let go for nothing, his net spend would probably be way, way less than that, you know? So it is frustrating, but it is what it is. You need to get these people off the wage book. And all of the people who are saying, oh, John Murtaugh's doing a madness this summer, like, if you can't even sell Fred for 12 million, that is not a mad... I mean, it is a madness, but it's not a positive madness, is it? But yeah, I honestly think that is a disgrace, to be completely honest with you. 12.9 million for Fred. Like, I would genuinely rather keep Fred and sell McTominay for 40 million. Like, 12.9 anyway. I'm not going to get too worked up about it because, yeah, it's just a bit pointless, isn't it? But yeah, he definitely is worth more than 12.9 million. Let me know in the comment section, how much do you think we should be looking for Fred? Manchester United have reportedly lowered their asking price to 12.9 million after initially asking for 17.2. Right, let's keep things moving though. Right, well, this is something you'll like. There's a story coming out from a UK journalist this morning saying that David Moyes is still keen on signing Harry Maguire and wants to find a way to do a deal with Manchester United this summer. So David Moyes is still really pushing to get Harry Maguire at West Ham. That's really positive. As we've said on this channel many, many times before, I think West Ham would be the perfect club for Harry Maguire. And somebody in the chat last night said, would you swap Scamacca, obviously the striker at West Ham, for Harry Maguire? And I said, yeah, I would. I think that'd be a great bit of business. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. West Ham are reportedly going to come and put a second bid in. We don't know how much for at this point. We don't know when this bid will come, but there was a story coming out yesterday saying that West Ham are considering putting in a second bid for Harry Maguire. And then we've had another story come out today saying that David Moyes is still pushing for his signature. So that's really, really positive. Let's hope that deal goes over the line. And then there's a little bit more on the West Ham situation. So this is coming out again from the same UK journalist who is reporting that Sir Alex Ferguson has apparently convinced David Moyes that Scott McTominay has all the tools to become a £100 million midfielder. I mean, I'm not sure what to make of that, to be completely honest with you, but fair enough. Okay, I mean, if it ends up with us, if we end up selling him, then happy days. But I'm not sure if Scott McTominay can become a £100 million midfielder, to be completely honest with you. People talking about the Amrabat deal in the chat. Let me give you an update on Amrabat then. So, in relation to Amrabat, from what we're hearing, so there's something that's come out from Fabrizio Romano literally in the last few minutes. So Fabrizio said 20 minutes ago, he says, Amrabat wants to go, he wants to leave and play for Manchester United. He has said yes to United already. So there's your update on Amrabat. I'll repeat that for you really, really quickly. Fabrizio Romano in the last 20 minutes has reported Amrabat wants to go, he wants to leave and play for Manchester United. He has said yes to United already. So all we need to do is put the bid in and that deal is effectively done. What we're hearing is that Manchester United want to sell Fred first. As soon as they sell Fred, they will then make this official bid for Amrabat. I expect the Fred deal to be done within the next week. Now that we've lowered our price to 12.9 million, Galatasaray will definitely pay that. Fred has reportedly already said yes to Galatasaray. Personal terms have already been agreed. Obviously, he'd be a starting player for Galatasaray. They're in the Champions League. Galatasaray are probably the best club in Turkey. So yeah, it's a good move for Fred. And from what we're hearing, as soon as this Fred deal to Galatasaray gets over the line, they will then press the button on the Amrabat transfer. So I'm not worried about Amrabat whatsoever. We did bring this up on the show last night that apparently West Ham submitted a 30 million euros bid for Amrabat, but the player Amrabat has rejected the move. He doesn't want to go to West Ham, and he wants to come to Manchester United. So yeah, it's just a case of, for me, it's a case of when, not if. I do think that this deal will happen, but for some reason Manchester United are just waiting for Fred to leave the club. So Fabrizio's full tweet is as follows. He says, I'm told there are no changes in the Amrabat deal. Manchester United keep working on Amrabat and want him, but talks are on player side at the moment, no bid yet. So at the moment, it's purely just between Manchester United and the player. An official bid has not gone in yet, but we do expect once Fred leaves the club, once some outgoings happen, Manchester United will submit their official bid for Amrabat, and the fee will be somewhere in the region of 20 to 30 million euros. That's what's being reported. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, as much as I want them to just get Amrabat over the line, as long as we get him, I don't really care whether it's this week or next week, to be completely honest with you, because he's not going to start that game against Wolves, even if we sign him. That game against Wolves, I would 99% say it will be Bruno, Mason Mount and Casemiro in the midfield. So when you look at it like that, I know we want players through the door. I know we want them training with the team, but our next game after that isn't for it's the week after, isn't it? So what my point here is, I wouldn't even expect Amrabat to start until probably a couple of weeks after the season begins anyway. So he's not as essential for me as Rasmus Hojlund was. So our first game is obviously against Wolverhampton Wanderers, and then we play Tottenham Hotspur 5 days later. So as long as he's in for that Tottenham game, because that's the kind of game where I really, really do think we need a player like Amrabat. When we go away to a difficult away ground where the crowd's really against you, you need somebody in that midfield who's physical, who's really, really good at breaking up the play, who's really good at tackling. And unfortunately, Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes aren't those types of players. So against a club like Tottenham away from home on the 19th of August, it's essential that we do have Amrabat in that midfield, in my opinion. You play a midfield three of Amrabat, Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes. And I think that would be really, really difficult to break down. So yeah, I'm not massively worried about it, and I do understand, as some people are saying in the chat, I do understand why Manchester United are kind of trying to sell a few players first, because otherwise it does weaken their position. If the other clubs know that they need to sell and that they're being backed into a corner, we're going to get even less than 12 million for Fred. You know, Galatasaray will say, okay, well, you need to sell, we'll give you 5. And Manchester United will have to take it to comply with financial fair play. So I do get it. Although, to be completely honest with you, this 12 million fee that's being reported for Fred, that already sounds to me like that Manchester United are backed into the corner and they're desperate to kind of to do a deal, you know? That's an absolute disgrace of a fee. £12 million for Fred. So bad. But it does look like he will go there. It looks like Fred has already said yes to Galatasaray, and it does look like that move will be concluded in the next kind of week or so. Yeah, Fabrizio even said himself that he was 90% sure that he will leave And the story coming out this morning says that Galatasaray are now expected to make an improved offer to Manchester United for Fred in the coming days. So it does look like Galatasaray will submit this new bid. As I said to you earlier on in the show, Galatasaray have submitted 3 bids to this point, one for 5 million, one for 8 and one for 10. Manchester United reportedly want around 12. So I'm confident this deal will get done. I know everyone's going to say we should be getting at least 20 million for Fred, but it is what it is. Obviously, we don't do the transfers. It's not up to us. It's not our job. I know obviously we can be frustrated, but there's not really too much else we can do. Fabrizio Romano said the following: Galatasaray are still negotiating with Manchester United for Fred, trying to find a solution in the next few days. Talks continue while there are other clubs trying to enter the race. And then a Turkish journalist has come out and said the following: Galatasaray are expected to announce the signing of Fred shortly. Fred has said yes to Galatasaray. Manchester United are now waiting for the final offer. So yeah, as soon as Fred leaves the club, as soon as that deal concludes, we will then put in the bid for Amrabat. And as Fabrizio said, he wants to move to Manchester United. He's picked Manchester United. He doesn't want to go to West Ham. So yeah, it obviously is a bit disappointing, isn't it? Because 100% Fred is worth more than 12 million. There is nobody can argue with that. You know, if Caicedo and Declan Rice are worth over 100 million pounds, Fred is definitely worth more than 12. If Lavia, who's had one good season, is worth 50, Fred is definitely worth more than 12 million pounds. But it is what it is. If I was to say to you, would you rather sell Fred for 12 million or keep him? I assume most of you would rather sell him, wouldn't you? Like, there's no point keeping a player with 1 year left on his contract at the club who's probably not going to even get any game time, to be completely honest with you. But let me know what you think about that one. Obviously, it's not a very good fee, and we can hope that maybe Saudi Arabia come back in for him. But from what we're hearing, it does look like Fred has chosen Galatasaray. So at the end of the day, the player has to be happy. Otherwise, the player can just say, I'm not going to Saudi Arabia. I don't want to do that. So the player does have to be happy. And reportedly, he wants to go to Galatasaray. So it does look like that deal will happen. Just a really quick one as well. This is quite positive, actually. You'll get the relevance in a minute, but West Ham have officially pulled out of the race to sign James Ward-Prowse. So if anybody was unaware, West Ham are obviously looking for a midfielder, hence the link with McTominay, okay? They put in a bid of Conor Gallagher, £40 million at Chelsea. That was rejected. They've put in 2 bids for James Ward-Prowse. Both were rejected, and now they've pulled out of the race. And then, who else have they gone for? They've gone for somebody else. Yeah, so ultimately West Ham have now pulled out of the race for James Ward-Prowse, which hopefully will pave the way for this bid for Scott McTominay. It does open the door for it. The West Ham fans I know are absolutely furious with how this transfer window's gone. Obviously, they've got this ridiculous amount of money, this huge cash that's come in from Declan Rice. It's just burning a hole in their pocket, and everybody knows they've got the money. They're trying to do ridiculous deals, and no one's buying them. But let's just hope that they do now come back in for McTominay. Let's hope that they do get that one over the line, because, you know, James Ward-Prowse hasn't happened. They haven't managed to get Conor Gallagher, so now it does mean that they should now come in for McTominay. We've got 600 people watching this morning, which is absolutely massive. Thank you for everybody who is joining us this morning. Please do smash a like on the video really, really quickly, everybody. And please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are now less than 60 subscribers away from 8K subscribers. So please go and subscribe if you haven't already. And as Richie says in the chat, this is a really good point. So Richie said, obviously, as I've said to you guys many, many times before, the issue with Manchester United players is the wages, okay? So Fred is on £120,000 a week. Galatasaray's highest earning player is Dries Mertens, who I believe is on about £70,000 a week, right? So the only way that they can get this deal done is if they give him a signing on bonus. So picture it like this, okay? We're all sat here saying Fred is worth 20 million, right? So what will probably happen is Galatasaray will say, well, okay, yes, he's worth 20 million, but we're going to have to pay him way more per week than what we're paying our highest earning player. So they'll give Manchester United 12 million, and then they'll probably give Fred a signing on bonus. They did the same thing with Wilfried Zaha, who they just signed. They gave him a massive signing on bonus. So yeah, that's what they'll do. They'll give him a signing on bonus to keep him happy. That's the only way that you can kind of get these types of deals done. And because of our wage bill, it ultimately means that the money that we should be getting goes to the player, because the player says, well, yeah, I'm happy to move to Galatasaray, but Galatasaray are going to only pay me 80 grand a week. I want to be compensated, you know? I'm on 120 grand a week here. So that's why it happens like this. And I know people are all in the chat will just say, oh, he's worth 20 million, he's worth 20 million. But you have to actually look at the bigger picture of this, okay? It's not as black and white as how much you think he's worth. You have to make sure that the player is still going to be compensated the same amount of money based on their wages at the new club as they are at the old club. And that's where our issue always lies. We always overpay on wages, which means that when they move to a new club, the other club can't afford their wages and they have to give them a big signing on bonus or all the rest of it. So yeah, Dries Mertens, Wilfried Zaha is their highest earning player. He's on 125,000 euros per week. So Wilfried Zaha, their highest earning player, gets paid more than what Fred does at Manchester United. That pretty much says it all, doesn't it? But yeah, so I do think he will go. I do, but it's just, I know people are disappointed about the fee. I know people want more than 12 million. But for me personally, I think just get him off the wage bill, get him out of the club. 12 million in the bank, happy days. Yeah, it's what it is, isn't it? There's not really much else that we can do about it in this current moment. Right, we have got some news on some more outgoings to rattle through really, really quickly. Now, this one isn't the most exciting of bits of stories, but I'm bringing it to you anyway. So we've got this this goalkeeper called Nathan Bishop, who has come through the youth academy. I'm not sure if he'll ever make it into the first team, to be completely honest with you, but it does look like he will. He was. I think he was in the under-21s. I wouldn't ever say he was somebody that was on the list of people that I expected to break through, but it does look like he will be leaving the club on a permanent transfer. Nathan Bishop, a backup goalkeeper, he will be going to Sunderland. I'm not sure how much the fee will be at this stage. I assume it'll be around £1 million. It's not going to be a lot of money. Obviously, he's still very, very young. He's not really played any first-team football for Manchester United. But yeah, it looks like he will be moving to Sunderland. So that's another player out the door, and it should be a little bit of money in the bank. And then we've had another story this morning as well, saying that apparently Leeds United are considering a move for Brandon Williams. There was a journalist last night who put out this story, and now we've had another UK-based journalist saying that Leeds United are considering a move for Brandon Williams. Obviously, we spoke about this one on the show last night. I think that would be a really, really good move for Brandon Williams. If we could get somewhere around 5 million for Brandon Williams, I'd be absolutely buzzing with that. Obviously, he's on quite high wages again, which I know is the issue that every single player at Manchester United seems to have. He had one good season, didn't he, where he broke through, and I think Manchester United rewarded him with a really big contract. I think he's on about 60, 70 grand a week. Let me just double check for you. Yeah, so Brandon Williams is on 65 grand a week, which is absolutely ridiculous, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, so it does look like he will leave the club, and it does look like Leeds United will come in for him, which I think would be really, really good. So yeah, let's hope that deal happens, because at the end of the day, he's never going to be good enough for Manchester United, in my opinion. Obviously, I wish him all the best. I hope he goes and has a great career in football, but he's never the quality for Manchester United. He really, really isn't. I know he's come through the youth academy. I know he has that kind of fighting spirit that some people like, but other than that, I don't think he's a very good footballer personally. But let me know in the comment section on that one, guys. How much do you think would be a fair price for Brandon Williams? In my opinion, I think somewhere around 3 to 5 million would probably be fair. Anything more than 5 million would be an absolutely massive success. But yeah, I'm not expecting anything more than 5 million for Brandon Williams. Right, let's keep things moving on the show this morning. Right, where are we? Just to confirm as well, anybody who's joining late, Rasmus Hojlund has completed his medical at Manchester United, and yeah, so we are expecting to get the official announcement later on today, which I'm absolutely buzzing about. Really, really excited to see this player. And it does look like as well, he will feature in one of our 2 pre-season matches this weekend. If anybody's unaware, we've got a game on Saturday at Old Trafford, 12:30 kickoff, which we will be doing a watch along on the channel for. And then we've also got a game on Sunday against Atletico Bilbao, which I think is a 4 o'clock kickoff. We'll be doing watch alongs for both of those games. So if you do like the watch alongs, if you do like stuff like that, please do make sure to subscribe and get involved in those areas of the show. Just a quick question as well. Please do get your questions in. I will read out some of you guys' questions in the second half of the show. So yeah, Red Devils United says, Kieran, why are we so bad at selling players? I mean, I'm gonna give them a bit of stick here. Okay, we're so bad at selling players because of the wages they're on. We are. That is the main reason. It genuinely is. The main reason we can't sell players for a good amount of money is because of the wages they're on. I mean, is everyone happy with 15 million plus 5 for Anthony Elanga? I think that's a good deal. And the reason we managed to get that was because he's on really low wages. But that's why we got that amount of money, you know? Fred, I know he's worth more than 12 million, but he's being paid double what he'd be paid at probably every other club in Europe, other than Manchester City or maybe Liverpool. But they're not going to sign him. Do you see where I'm going with this? So we are bad at selling players, yes, but it isn't as black and white as that. You know, if they were all on really low contracts, we could sell any of those players easy. Maguire would be sold. Maguire would go for 40, 50 million, I reckon, if he was on a quarter of the wages he's on now. But because his wages are 240 grand a week, just remember this, all right? Harry Maguire is paid more than Harry Kane. Just let that sink in. And when people say, oh, Harry Maguire's worth 40 million. Oh, why can we not sell players? Just let that sink in. We pay Harry Maguire, our 5th choice centre-back, who's, let's be honest, is very, very dodgy. We pay him more than what Tottenham pay Harry Kane, who gets 30 goals every season. Like, that's literally it, mic drop. There's no other... And that's why we're bad at selling players, because our wage budget is an absolute mess. It really, really is, you know? So yeah, that's why we're bad at selling players, because nobody is going to pay the types of wages that we pay. And because of that, as I said 5 minutes ago, that then means that the club needs to give them a signing on bonus. They need to give them something to make sure that their wages match what they got at the old club, you know? That's the black and white of it. And as Lee says in the chat, yeah, I do agree. The Anthony Elanga deal, 20 million including add-ons, I think that's a good price, you know? He hasn't played any football for like a year. And when he did, he wasn't amazing, was he? £20 million for somebody who pretty much didn't even ever play. We got that amount of money because he was on really, really low wages. I believe he was on about £5,000 a week. Yeah, I think Elanga was on about £5,000 a week. Like, that's why we got a good deal on that one. And at the end of the day, all of this does just kind of go back to Ed Woodward. I do think that our wage bill has improved a little bit. You know, like people like Lisandro Martinez, he came in. Martinez is on only around £100,000 a week. Who else have we signed? Malacia is on about $70,000 a week. Like, all of those are reasonable wages for those types of players. But then when you look at our older transfers, Harry Maguire, $240,000 a week. I mean, even Ericsson on $150,000 a week. Like, that is not great, is it? But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. I honestly don't think it's as black and white as saying that we're bad at transfers. I just think that the people who are doing the transfers now have been set up to fail. You know that I'm not the biggest fan of John Murtough or Richard Arnold or any of those types of people, but at the end of the day, imagine if you had to go and try and sell a house and it was, you know, ridiculously inflated, the price. Like, do you know what I mean? It's kind of the same as that, isn't it? You know, the wages are the issue here. Or say it like this, actually. This is a good analogy. So say that you were trying to sell a leasehold flat. So if anybody doesn't know what a leasehold flat is, it's like, you know, it's like a flat in a block of, you know, in a block of flats, right? Imagine you were trying to sell a leasehold flat, but the management fee was £10,000 a year, and the flat was only worth £1,000 a year. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not comparable. We're paying these types of players money that they're not worth. So no other club is going to pay that. That's the issue, and that's why we are so bad at selling players. It's not as black and white as we can't sell players. Red Devil says, Kieran, does balancing the books for financial fair play selling players for a fee, or is it just reducing the wage bill? It's both. If you sell players, it reduces the financial fair play, and yeah, it's both wages and money you kind of raise and spend and all the rest of it. It's based on your income. It's your income versus your wages or something like that. So yeah, it is important that we do get fees for the players, but it is also important that we lower our wage bill, because our wage bill is absolutely ridiculous. Our wage bill is double what Arsenal's are. That's why Arsenal are able to spend so much money this summer, because their wage bill is about half of what our wage bill is. That's the main issue here. Yeah, that's the holding block back for us at the moment. Miles says, but Kieran, Maguire did not come to United as a 5th choice centre-back. That's why his wages are so high compared to Harry Kane. Yeah, but still, you're telling me that when Harry Maguire joined Manchester United, he deserved the same amount of money per week as what Harry Kane does. The only reason that we gave him such a big contract was because Manchester City was sniffing round. So Manchester United went, here's 80 million and we'll give you 200 plus grand a week. That's what happened, you know? Manchester United panicked. They thought that they were going to get beaten by Manchester City. And instead of, you know, taking the L, they thought, all right, we'll just give them a ridiculous amount of money and hope that it goes through. And it did. Yeah, as Viking Red says, Woodward started all of this. Yeah, it was Woodward who did this. He was the one who's left us in this majority of this mess. We can blame the Glazers. We can, because they employed Ed Woodward. But he was the one who's messed up so many deals. If you look at the players he signed in his time here, like, none of them really worked, did they? Let's be completely honest with you. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think about that one. I get so many comments from people and they say, oh, Harry Maguire's not, you know, he's worth way more than 20 million. He's an England international. He's worth 40 to 50 million. But I just don't think people really understand the wage issue. Like, they don't. You know, if you're paying Harry Maguire that amount of money over a 4-year contract, you know, it's like ridiculous amounts of money. Right, let's move on there. Let's talk about something else. So Red Devils United says, Are the rumours regarding Johnny Evans getting a one-year deal true? This surely means Maguire will leave. So there was a story that came out last night reporting that apparently Johnny Evans will be signing a one-year extension at Manchester United. This has been kind of, what's the word? Can't think of the word. But ultimately Fabrizio Romano has come out and said that it hasn't been confirmed yet. So as it stands, Manchester United have not made a decision on whether Johnny Evans will sign a new contract. Or sign a contract at Manchester United. It would be a one-year contract. And for me personally, I definitely do think that if Johnny Evans signs this contract, that will pave the way for Harry Maguire to leave. Yeah, and I'm happy with that. I really, really am. If we can get rid of Harry Maguire and then just keep Johnny Evans as the fifth choice centre-back for one season, I have absolutely no issue with that whatsoever. Go and reinvest that money in somewhere else in the squad. Go and buy another striker. Go and buy another midfielder if you need it, whatever you might need to be done. I don't personally think that we need to sign a new centre-back right at this moment in time, but obviously that's up to Harry Maguire. We will have to wait and... Sorry, not up to Harry Maguire. It's up to Erik ten Hag to decide what happens. It's not up to me. But yeah, if it was me, I'd keep Johnny Evans, keep him on a one-year deal, sell Harry Maguire, use that money to go and buy another striker. Happy days. And then in the summer next year or in January, if we've got new owners, then go and get a new centre-back. Because at the end of the day, we want to get the best centre-back available. We don't just want to get somebody to fill a gap. Yeah, but let me know what you think about that one. Would you give Johnny Evans a one-year contract extension? I did do a poll on the community section of the channel. So if you're not, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go and subscribe, and then you can see all of our polls. So we did put out a poll earlier on today asking, would you give Johnny Evans a one-year contract extension? So at the moment, the results of that poll are 54% of people who subscribe to the channel say yes, and 46% of you say no. So it's about 50-50 at this point between whether people would keep Johnny Evans for 1 year. As I've said to you, I definitely would keep him for 1 year. I think there's absolutely no reason not to. He's won the Premier League, he's won the Champions League. He knows what it means to be a Manchester United player. He's obviously played under the greatest manager of all time, Sir Alex Ferguson. So yeah, for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. I would definitely like to see Johnny Evans stay for 1 year as the fifth choice centre-back. No issue whatsoever. But yeah, if you disagree, that's completely fine. But for me, I would sell Maguire, go and use that money to buy another striker, because we desperately do need another striker. I genuinely do believe that. So Red Devils United says, we have done good business this window, apart from Mason Mount. We have signed Onana and Hojlund on decent wages. Also, Amrabat will be on low wages. Yeah, that's true. Rasmus Hojlund and Onana are on around, I think Hojlund's on about 75 and Onana's on about 120, both of which are really, really fair for their players. So we are slowly doing the right thing. We are slowly bringing the wage bill down. And that's why I'm so like, all right, get Fred out, get Maguire out, get all these people on the stupid wages out, because there's no need to keep them if they're just not going to be part of the plans and they're on these crazy wages. I mean, let me just get this for you. Harry Maguire is paid £10 million per year by Manchester United. 10 million. Fred is paid, how much? Fred is paid £6.5 million. So if you get rid of Fred and Harry Maguire, that's £16.5 million that you're saving per year in wages. People are saying that Johnny Evans has already been given the extension. I don't think he has. I'm not sure where you're getting that from, to be honest with you. Fabrizio said last night that he hasn't. So I don't know where you guys are saying that. At this stage, let me just get this up for you. Okay, so Fabrizio Romano said the following. People in the chat saying that Johnny Evans has signed a contract. So Fabrizio says, no decision has been made yet by Manchester United about Johnny Evans, despite the recent speculation. United are pleased and happy with Johnny's contribution during pre-season. They're not ruling anything out. Decision is expected later this month. So yeah, they haven't made a decision yet. That's coming from Fabrizio Romano. That was less than 10 hours ago. Manchester United have not given Johnny Evans the contract yet. They're considering it. They're happy with his performances. They're happy with how he's training. But Johnny Evans has not been issued a contract as of yet. So wherever you're seeing that, it is not true. Dave says we should go for Jared Brathwaite from Everton. Yeah, we have been linked to him actually, mate. We have. Obviously, he's a very young centre-back who was on loan in the Dutch league at PSV last season. I would be interested in him. I would, yeah. He's 6'5". He looks pretty good. Let me ask you this actually, guys. How would you rate our transfer business so far this summer out of 10? Let me know in the comment section. I would probably say around 6 out of 10 would be a fair place to be at the moment. I'd say our ingoings have been somewhere like a 7.5, an 8. I'd say the outgoings are probably like a 3 or a 4. But yeah, overall, I'd probably say like 5 or 6 out of 10 so far. If we get rid of Fred, McTominay, Maguire, Eric Bailly, if we get rid of like another 6 or 7 players, I would probably put it up to like an 8 out of 10. I would. But for me, the key thing here is to get rid of players. That's like absolutely essential. So yeah, let me know in the comment section, how would you rate our transfer business so far? I'm going with 6 out of 10, but it can easily go up to an 8 if we get rid of the players that look like they will be leaving the club. Just a quick one. We're less than 60 subscribers now away from 8,000. So if everybody who is watching who's not a subscriber, please go and subscribe really, really quickly, and we can hit 8,000 subscribers by the end of this video, which would be absolutely amazing. And do make sure to smash a like if you haven't already. I will read out some questions as well now. So if you get some questions in the live chat, I will get some of your questions involved. So yeah, get involved with that. Right, let's have a look. We've got a couple more stories to rattle through though before I do get to the questions. By way of just a general overview, it looks like Rasmus Hojlund will be announced today, and then it looks like Fred will leave the club, and then we'll put in a bid for, what's he called? Amrabat. Yeah, Amrabat's waiting. He wants to come. What else have we got? So lots of people are saying 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Yeah, I think if we get Amrabat and we sell Maguire, Eric Bailly, etc., I honestly would say that would be an 8 or a 9 out of 10. Red Devils United says there are rumours Martial has turned down a huge contract from Saudi Arabia and wants to stay at United. I haven't seen that, to be honest with you, mate, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the thing you've got to remember with Anthony Martial is he's only got 1 year left on his contract. So if he stays for 1 more year, he can then leave next season for free, and he would probably get a huge signing on bonus. So yeah, I do think it's a bit naughty of him, but it is what it is, isn't it? I haven't seen any stories linking him. There was a story a couple of weeks ago, wasn't there, that he was going to go to Saudi Arabia, but I haven't seen any stories saying that he won't go. Right, we've got 5 minutes left of the show, so I will jump into the comment section now and get some of you guys' questions in. Anybody who's joining the show late, obviously go back to the beginning. We've spoken about loads on the show. We've spoken about the takeover. We've spoken, of course, about Fred, Donny van der Beek. Yeah, loads and loads has been discussed. So if you are joining the show new, do just kind of go back to the beginning and you can catch up. Right. Simon says, what second striker should we go for on a limited budget? That's a really good question. Thank you for that one, Simon. I will echo that back to the chat. So what second striker should we go for? Let me know in the comment section below. For me personally, I would probably say Taremi from Porto. I think he would be the best option at this moment in time. I know he's quite old. I know he's not somebody for the future. He is 30 years of age. Sorry, he's 31 years of age now. So yeah, I mean, it is very much a stopgap type signing. If we could get him for like 15 to 20 million, I think that would be a good deal. But if you're asking any player, I'd say like Harry Kane, I'd say Gonzalo Ramos, I'd say Kolo Muani, but realistically, we're not going to have the budget to do that. So yeah, I would say someone like Taremi of that level would be a good signing. I'm not going to lie to you, I wouldn't be surprised if we do a loan signing. I think that's probably more likely at this point. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, who would you like to be our second striker? Yeah, somebody's saying Kudos in the chat. Kudos would be a really good option, obviously from Ajax. I would really, really like that. What else have we got? So, thank you to everybody who's been really supportive in the channel as well. Like just for anybody who is new today, we've only been doing this channel for literally about 2 months, if that. And the community's grown so quickly. So massive shouts to everybody. To everybody who's been here from the very, very beginning. I really do appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, as Liam says, you can't buy a quality striker under 50 million, so I'd expect a loan. Yeah, I mean, we're paying 60 million for Rasmus Hojlund, who we're paying for based on potential. Like, you're not going to get anybody as good as Rasmus Hojlund for less than 60 million, are you, at the end of the day? So yeah, I probably think a loan is the most likely option. Maybe we go in for Felix from Atletico Madrid, although I have a feeling he's going to go to Barcelona. Yeah, I don't know, to be completely honest with you. I'm not sure. if we don't get another striker, I will be disappointed. But Erik ten Hag has already said in multiple press conferences that he's going to try. What's he called? Jadon Sancho as a false nine. I mean, for one season, fine, but we're not going to win the Champions League with Jadon Sancho as a false nine, are we? Let's be completely honest with you. We're not going to win the Premier League with Jadon Sancho as a false nine, I don't think. So, yeah, I would just go all out for Harry Kane. I would. I'd sell some players, hope that Bayern Munich don't get this deal over the line, try and sell Maguire, try and sell McTominay, sell Dean Henderson, raise 80 to 100 million, go all out for someone like Gonzalo Ramos, Harry Kane. Because two strikers would, honestly, I think if we have two strikers, then we're at least in contention to win something this year. Red Devils United says, if Johnny Evans stays, do you see him playing Premier League games or would it just be Carabao Cup? I think he'd just literally be the fifth choice centre-back like Maguire. I think he'd probably play like 5 Premier League games, maybe come on in the second half of League Cup games. I can't imagine he'd be starting, no. Yeah, lots of people saying get Kudos from Ajax. Yeah, Kudos from Ajax would be an absolutely quality signing. I believe he is quite heavily linked to, is it Arsenal or Chelsea? Apparently he does want to come to Manchester United though. And it is actually Mohamed Kudus' birthday as well today, which is quite interesting. I would love to get Mohamed Kudus. And obviously he can play across any of the front three positions. He can play in the striker role, he can play on the wings, and he can play in the centre attacking midfielder position. So yeah, if Kudus was a genuine option, if we could afford him and he was available, I would definitely go and get that deal done. But whether that is possible or not is kind of up for debate, to be completely honest with you. I'm not entirely sure. All right, we've got 5 minutes left of the video. Just a quick heads up. Jihan says, I would not sign any old strikers like Harry Kane, another young and up-and-coming striker, but I think we might do a loan. This is why Martial has to stay. It's just logical. Yeah, I do agree. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to remember, if we're looking at this positively, hopefully the Glazers are gone by January, okay? If the Glazers aren't gone by January, I don't even know what I'm going to think. But let's just all hope the Glazers are gone by January. We've got new owners and they want to make a statement signing. They come in and they buy somebody. They buy another striker. That would be the perfect time for us to get another striker, because that just then allows us to kick on in the second half of the season. I'm not absolutely devastated if... I won't be devastated if we don't sign a second striker now. I think as long as we do get one between now and the end of the season, I'll be happy. But yeah, as long as we get somebody... I mean, obviously people in the chat are saying Mason Greenwood. We just don't know, do we? We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe Mason Greenwood does come back. Obviously, that's not up for us to decide. But yeah, Rashford can play as a striker. What's he called? Jadon Sancho, they seem to think can play as a striker. And if Mason Greenwood comes back, then obviously he would play as a striker. So yeah, people in the chat saying, what about Mason Greenwood as a second striker? Yeah, I mean, until that happens, I don't really want to talk about it. I don't really want to discuss it. But obviously, that is a possibility. Maybe that is what's being discussed behind the scenes. Obviously, Manchester United have just signed this new deal with Adidas, haven't they? So yeah, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that one? Obviously, we will keep you updated as and when. Right, this feels like a really good place to wrap up the video, guys. It's been an absolutely incredible show this morning. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined us. Please do smash a like on the video when you leave. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. We go live every single day at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. UK time. And if anything breaks during the day, we do also go live. We are expecting the Rasmus Hojlund official announcement today, so of course we will go live when that happens. Please do like, please do subscribe, get involved in the comment section, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Lots of love and peace out.